Now, you might think we got this meeting that happened last night in Township of Thornton, but it ended up being a meeting of uno. Tiff showed up and she called this special meeting. The rest of the supervisors, no, they're not showing up. So Tiff took it upon herself, and the supermayor took it upon herself to basically just speak her mind. We're gonna go through the news story, and then we're gonna watch clips from Reality Check TV Chicago. Got some great footage. You know, a lot of the news outlets decided not to cover this because there's no story. I think there's some amazing stories here. And at the end of the Reality Check TV clips we're going to watch, there's some good stuff. Tiffany Henyard slams Thornton Township trustee actions to limit spending in special meeting of uno. Her. It never ceases to shock me what she comes up with and what she just throws down. It's like, you doing what? You got what going on? To give you an example, so special meeting of the Thornton Township Trustees Wednesday night was called off because it was never really called on. You know what I mean? And supervisor like, no, we're not showing up. But that didn't stop supervisor and Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard from addressing the public. She slammed recent actions by trustees to limit spending and enact a new credit card policy. So remember in the last meeting, they basically stripped everybody of their credit cards and said, we're going to go to one credit card. Well, now the super mayor is indicating that we can't buy ice cream for the senior event. We can't buy a gift card for Big Bingo. Big Bingo is apparently it's a community event and everybody's into it. So in the absence of the township's 5 sitting trustees, Henyard's attempt at a special meeting was more like a soliloquy. I had to Google that one. Because I didn't really know what that meant. You know, one of those words you're like, I'm just not quite smart enough to figure that one out. So it's an act of speaking one's thoughts aloud when by oneself or regardless of any hearers. Okay. All right. Is that what we had happen here? Let's watch a quick video. This is from Liz Nagy. And if I'm mispronouncing your name, Liz, sorry about that. So let's go ahead. And this is we're going to play a handful of clips here today. And they each have meaning, right? Here we go.
In the absence of the township's 5 sitting trustees, Supervisor Tiffany Henyard's attempt at a special meeting was more of a soliloquy.
I am about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments. There will be anything. It'll just be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on in Thornton Township.
When can we address you?
Henyard called Wednesday's special meeting, she said, in response to a series of ordinances the village's board passed last week to manage event spending. In video of the August 20th meeting provided to ABC7 by the Lansing Journal, trustee Chris Gonzalez said,
"Or the administration can adhere to some financial limits. We're not looking to necessarily cut stuff out."
With that ordinance passed, Henyard claims township services abruptly ground to a halt.
They was not able to get certain services, whether it was gift cards for a Big Bingo. Monday, the staff was not able to even buy ice cream for the seniors.
Last week's meeting also addressed the issue of township credit cards. Trustees moved to put a township credit card in Henyard's name for accountability.
We need to put some safeguards in place to regulate what's spent on the credit card.
I do not want a credit card. I do not deal with money.
Earlier this month, former Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
Just some wild stuff going on here. Thornton Township meeting canceled, but Supervisor Tiffany Henyard speaks uninterrupted. Okay, here's Jenna Barnes. Let's, we're not going to play that because I just want to get into the actual meeting itself. What was so interesting is that, there's a group of people that are still hanging out. They are supporters of the super mayor and they believe that she can do no wrong. And I think Tiffany has she's done some things. She's actually done probably some good things. It sounds like her interaction with the seniors in the community is pretty strong. And then she loves the kids. So, okay. But that doesn't make up for all the other shenanigans of all the money that she siphoned off the taxpayers. But they want to believe that Tiffany Henyard can do no wrong. And so you'll see that in this meeting. It's just kind of bizarre how they just want to support her no matter what she does. And remember, this is all coming off of Dalton Mayor's Texas trip tab, tens of thousands billed to taxpayers. This came about 2 nights ago. So this kind of news breaking story, and what it amounted to is that over $100,000 had been put on credit cards between the township of Thornton and the village of Dalton that for expenses for trips that they took, that the township and the village have no idea what the purpose was. No idea. Just unregulated expenses. And it was over $100,000. Initially, Township of Thornton realized they were on the hook for $67,000. That was back, I think, in January of 2024. They figured that out. Ben Bradley figured that out. And now there's through Freedom of Information Act. And remember that word, Freedom of Information Act, FOIA. They got the credit card statements for the village of Dalton. So now they've got Thornton and Dalton, and they realized, another, $27K was spent on credit cards on these multiple trips to, Portland, New York City, Atlanta, Austin. They're taking some big trips and they're staying in some nice places, some Four Seasons, some, Fairmont, Austin, some decent hotels, Ruth Chris Steakhouse. I mean, they are living large. So this comes a couple of nights after that. And Tiffany Henyard wants to go on she wants to be the aggressor here. And basically, hey, we can't pay our bills. But the supervisors are like, yeah, no, we're doing what we're doing. And we don't need this special meeting. We're not showing up. So Tiffany Henyard, she just basically talks to herself. So let's get into that now. This is the meat of the matter, right? Let's go ahead. And again, I want to make sure we get this. This is Reality Check TV Chicago. Give them a subscribe. Give him a subscribe. He's got a small channel. He's getting big views. So this guy is doing the Lord's work from the standpoint of getting video of these meetings that we wouldn't have otherwise. So Reality Check TV Chicago, thank you so much. And would love to have, if you're interested in this topic, love to have you subscribe to him as well. But let's go ahead and let's start getting into this because there's some interesting stuff here. I'm going to clip it down. I think we've got one, two, three, four, five segments that are pretty good. And we'll talk about each one. All right. Let's make sure we've got things going here.
Their story without you cutting it up, chopping it up, adding this in it, putting this in it to make it sell for what you want it for. That's not what we do here at Thornton Township. Just like all this I'm saying right here. I'm pretty sure you're going to cut it, chop it, and make a segment. And that's what they're going to put on the news. I guarantee you.
She's talking to the media. You got ABC and you got WGN kind of in the back corner. This direction over here. The cameras are over here. Where we are situated is kind of more off to the right. And that's our guy.
I just want to show the people that we care about them. There is more to the story than what you see. For those that know me personally or know me, because I grew here, remember everybody else flew here, y'all know that I'm rooted in the community. Like literally grew up in the village of Dawson. That's why I stayed in that fire over there, because I ran and I won as a trustee in 2013. I've been a trustee for 2 terms, won both my seats back to back. Then after that, I ran for mayor, won that by 82% that they hate on. Landslide. So that means y'all wanted to change. And then God blessed me and placed me here in 2022, becoming the first female, youngest African-American supervisor of the largest township in the state of Illinois. That's what all the hate is all about. It's all about your super mayor became too popular too quick. I did not go through the boys club. I am not your status quo. I'm so rare, so unique, and that's what everybody.
Not your status quo. Agreed.
I got a problem. It's all about control. And I stand in the fight because I want the boys and girls of the next generation to see what it looks like to come out of controversy than to come out of all the hatred unscathed. Because at the end of the day, only God can fix this. Because right now, we are fighting a spiritual battle, whether y'all believe it or not. We are. There's a lot of demons, and you saw half the demons got up and left, and everybody that really wanted to hear another story stayed to hear a different side, a different narrative. And those that know the truth, which I don't know about my staff, they sit here and don't want to say nothing. But I always tell them, get up and speak, because when I said,
maybe this guy knows the truth. Maybe that guy knows what's going on. He never looks very happy at being at these meetings, does he? Is he thinking about what he's going to have for lunch? Or no, this is dinner time, isn't it? Is he thinking about what he's going to have for dessert? What's he thinking about? Did I go to law school for this? Just the look on his face. He looks like a nice guy, but the look on his face is always like, I'd rather be anywhere else but here. And this is the township's attorney. So there's some question as to why he's at every single meeting right now, and especially one that Tiffany Henyard called and that the supervisors didn't attend. So why is he here? Good question, right? Why is he here? He's just coming to everything, and he's got to be $3.50 an hour.
nobody wants to listen. But maybe when y'all say it might be a little different because you're telling me it and I'm saying it to the public, but you gotta say it. So now they understand where y'all coming from as it relates to all your departments. Because at the end of the day, they say, we ain't signed up for this. We don't want to be on the news. We on this. And I get it, because that's a lot. That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot on a person. And that's what y'all fail to realize. What you're doing to regular, everyday people. They mental. Y'all should worry about that. They have families. They have kids. They have loved ones. No one cares about that. You guys just attack. And that's why a lot of people don't come to board meetings or don't speak up, because they're afraid of being attacked off of just giving their opinion. That's not cool. I keep telling you, you gotta remember, we are people first. At the end of the day, when you're sick, when you're ill, when you're in that hospital bed, guess who by your side? Your loved one. I pray, hope it's your loved one. But it ain't the hate group. It ain't the people that you catting with every day. You ain't gonna see them. Call them and ask them to help you bury your loved one. Call them and ask them to help you with something for your kid. I guarantee you're not gonna get no support from them. But everybody not a band together when it's something hateful. It said that fake news and negative news travel faster than anything positive. I never seen nothing like it. And I am the first to go through a big old smear campaign like this. I never made the news every single day, every news cycle. Gosh, how much money do y'all make off me? I just wonder. This is all clickbait. I've never seen it in my life. But yet I'm going through it, but I'm still standing 10 toes down, ladies. I'm not going to give up.
All right. My next segment is, so Tiffany Henyard there, she is basically saying, hey, fake news. This is all fake news. And she doesn't understand why she hasn't been, in the fake news until now. Well, it's because all of this information is coming about her basically stealing from Township of Thornton and Village of Dalton. Not necessarily stealing per se so far that we know of, but it doesn't look good, right? It just doesn't look good. The spending that she has done, the, leases on the cars, all of that stuff, and now holding up checks, and there are millions and millions of dollars upside down in their budget. I mean, you've just got a laundry list of shenanigans going on. So it's no wonder that the media is covering this, because it's a news story. It is a legit news story. Let's go to our next segment here. And we are at, I think, 4:45. There we go.
And this is what I mean when I say the board do not run the day-to-day. You literally vote on a budget, and that's what you do. You stay within your budget. But yet, I put that on the agenda last board meeting, and no one voted for a budget. How many times do I have to keep saying vote for a budget, vote for a budget? We've been fighting for a budget since April, and we still to this day don't have a budget. Nobody got a plan, but everybody want to stop our plan or our vision. Why is that? You cannot stop someone's vision that really cares about the public. Because at the end of the day, y'all know we still have that picnic. So y'all might as well show up and come on out. May not have no the artists that we had set up for it, but we're gonna have a picnic. So still come out, love on each other. Y'all know I'm all about family. Bring your kids.
She is still literally banging on about the community events that now she can't get paid. And she keeps going on about the budget. Well, because they don't know where they sit. They don't know any of their numbers. And they're, the supervisors have pulled back and said, no, we don't know where this is going. We don't know where we've been. We don't know what we've spent. And with your spending, we're not giving you carte blanche to just do whatever. And now the super mayor is claiming that she doesn't want a credit card. She doesn't have anything to do with spending. So there's just this huge pushback on anything associated with her personally spending. And she's putting a lot of effort into blaming Keith Freeman. It's Keith Freeman's fault. Her attorney is literally, in yesterday's live stream, we showed a clip of her attorney, the criminal defense attorney. And he's basically saying, well, she's a new mayor and she doesn't know what to do. She was looking for advice from Keith Freeman. And so it's his fault. So just the blame game and then fake news and just shenanigans, all throughout. just all of this. It's absolute insanity. But I guess it's one of those things where if you say something enough times, a certain percentage of the people will believe you. And that's the folks left in this room. Because look at this room. Look at this room right here. So you've got a handful of residents. You got a couple. This lady had to take a phone call. She's out talking to Junior. And then you've got cameraman. You've got the Lansing Journal. I think you got NBC and WGN right in here. And then you got Jenna Barnes right here and her, I think, assistant. But otherwise, it's just a handful of people that support Tiffany Henyard, essentially. There's like a handful of people at the beginning who are like, we're not sitting through a meeting where Tiff just literally, just starts talking and just, they're not sitting through that. And so initially there was some pretty, there was pushback, but those people all just got up and walked out.
Yeah, it was rough. But that's why I'm saying, y'all talk to the real people, get the real facts, not the made up stuff. And when they come, it's a show. That's all it is. So you won't hear nobody because you got all the negative people just saying stuff. So you can't never hear the truth. You just hear the negativity. So now you lost in the sauce. I'm trying to make it be where you talk to these people and you hear from their mouths to your ears on what's going on in their department. They run their department. They can tell you how it has affected their departments, their day-to-day operations, day-to-day stuff. That they have to keep coming to the board and say, hey, can we buy ice cream? Hey, can we buy food for the kids? Make that make sense. And this is when we get the backlash of the parents, the people that's upset because they couldn't get something for their kids, or their kids still hungry when they pick them up at 7 o'clock. What would you do? And I always tell people, flip it, turn around. Ask yourself, if that was your kid and we had your kids in our facility, how would you feel as a parent to us? Would you yell at us? Would you be upset that your kid didn't?
The real issue here is she is basically going on the offense. She's got something now. Hey, we can't run your programs. You guys are screwing this all up. So what she did here was smart, but the issue is that such a small percentage of these folks actually believe her. You've got a handful of people that just so badly want to believe that the super mayor is doing some good in the community. And the super mayor is doing what on the outside looks like some positive things for the community. But that doesn't override the fact that she's also fleeced the community for literally both communities, Thornton and Dalton, for what appears to be millions and millions of dollars. So, okay, we're doing some good stuff, but hey, thanks for the cash. That was great. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, well, you got to go with one or the other. You can't have it both ways. But the super mayor is just able to talk her way through it, kind of ish. I mean, what's this guy thinking right now? I mean, he's like, he never tells her to shut up, does he? Shouldn't say shut up. He never tells her to, hey, you know what? You are just literally saying a bunch of stuff that could come back to bite you in the rear end. So in that last sequence, we saw her talk about responsibility within departments. I want you to remember that, because when some of these reporters at the end here, and it's not what was said in this meeting, at the very end here, there's some interesting stuff that is so typical for how this goes. Super mayor says a bunch of stuff and then the reality sets in. So hang tight and we'll get to that. So next segment is 10:30.
Brokers got to fight with crowds just to get a statement out, just to tell y'all what's really going on and to show y'all. And some of the staff, as you can see, a little more comfortable saying a little stuff. Before they ain't want to go to the mic. I'm like, go to the mic, go to the mic. No. I get it. But you can't let the hateful or the spiteful ones stop you from giving your message. Still put your message out. I still do it regardless of what people say, just so people get another perspective of what's going on here at Thornton Township. But I just want to end with this. I'm thankful for my community. I'm thankful for my residents that support me, love on me, send me emails, send me texts. I love all that about you guys for just keeping your super mayor grounded. Thank y'all, because it's tough. Yes, it is. But at the end of the day, God gives the test to his strongest soldiers. He's not gonna give you more than you can.
God gives the test to his strongest soldiers. I don't know if I can go with that one. Know what I mean? Nah, we're just saying some stuff right now, right? This is when you take the Bible and you take the whole religion thing and you just spin it your way and go, I'm being tested. I am being tested. I am on a difficult path and I am being tested. Well, you might not be tested if you followed the rule of the law. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there, but let's just keep going, right?
There, and that's the purpose of the test, so you can have the testimony later. There's no testimony without the test, and you have to go through the process sometimes, and you have to go through the storm, but you got to keep your eye ahead and not on the storm, because sometimes you get caught in the storm and you take your eye off God. So I try to encourage people to keep going, keep moving, don't give up. It's light at the end of the tunnel. I try to tell people to have tunnel vision, just like those horses. I don't know if y'all into horse races or nothing. They got them blinders on the side so they can't look left or right, so they can't get distracted and run a race. It's the same concept. Y'all have to do the same. And to anybody that's in any other type of, whether it's form of government or management, keep fighting, keep going, especially to the ladies, because I know y'all get overlooked and underpaid a lot of the times, and you suffer silence. I get that. And today your day, you gotta fight back. You gotta say something. You cannot just take it. Today is the day that you must stand for something, please. And I know it's tough because people don't want to lose their job, so they just be quiet and they'll say nothing. But y'all should say something. I promise you should. Do anybody else want to say anything? Any of my staff? Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. This guy gets up and he talks. He gives a big testimony about how TIF is doing some great stuff in the community. But he's literally speaking to, I think, about 10 of Tiffany's supporters at this point in time. And some reporters. So we're not gonna, if you want to watch that, you can check out Reality Check TV Chicago and you can watch the whole thing yourself. But, he kind of has a long speech. This to me is the interesting part here. So we're going to get to 22 and change.
If you are interested, and remember, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, y'all have a good evening.
All right, so meeting over, you can see how few people there are. That room was full-ish to begin with. Okay, so you got people booking it out. Don't want to talk to the super mayor.
Oh, yeah.
This is the guy that spoke. All right, here's Jenna Barnes. Oh, yeah. Okay, so he totally blows her off right here. She goes to talk to him. He blows her off. Boom. Nice. So she looks back at her associate. Hey. They're waiting to talk to Tiff Tiff. We know green shirt. Okay, so Tiffany comes out. She knows who everybody is. She knows that this is Jenna Barnes. And so listen to this.
Hey, y'all concerned, just so y'all know, you don't have to leave that way.
I have a FOIA? What FOIA? I don't do FOIA. That's literally. Jenna Barnes is saying, hey, Jenna Barnes works for WGN and they've got multiple FOIAs in. And so the super mayor just literally brushes her off. Just, oh, yeah. And what does the super mayor came up and basically wanted to confront her on some of the content that they've put out and saying, hey, you couldn't quite work out what it was, but we can talk about this. And it's like, and then Jenna Barnes goes, well, hey, what about the FOIA asking for information? So in the first half of that conversation, Tiffany Henyard is saying, hey, we can do something other than what we're doing here, which is a news crew coming in and because this is newsworthy. And then she goes right to, oh, you want information from me? Oh, no. Yeah, I don't do FOIAs, but she's the mayor or she's the supervisor of the trustees here. So if there is a holdup on the FOIA, she should be all over that, but she's not. Instead, she just deflects and says, I don't do FOIAs. Okay, and this is Liz Nagy. This is, if I pronounce that again, that's ABC7. She's the one we saw the original video of. And so mayor comes up, knows who she is, shakes her hand, and I believe this is her cameraman. Hey, cameraman, just wanted to say hi. You can FOIA it. You can FOIA it. Jenna Barnes is asking, hey, about that information, where is it? You can FOIA it. Just, there's a stonewall at every single, opportunity where they could give some information and you wouldn't have this huge, storm of shenanigans going on if you actually gave out some information. So here between these two reporters, they're looking at these folks going, hey, are you going to give us some information? You going to give us anything? Of course they're not, but they got to go through these motions, right? Hey, I've repeatedly asked you for this information. Oh, you can FOIA it. Well, why can't we just get it direct? Because it wouldn't look good. You know what I mean? Let's keep going.
I'll see how you doing. I like your color.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
This jazz. Yeah.
Can't tell what they're saying, but it's basically just an exchange of, well, we got nothing out of this. But those interactions that we just saw right there, those interactions are literally have been going on for years, to the point where lawsuits have been made. Nexstar Media is the parent company that owns WGN, and they literally sued I can't remember if it was, I think it's Village of Dalton, because they were able to get information from Township of Thornton. They literally sued Village of Dalton, and a judge said, yeah, you got to give that up. And then they ignored that. And this is how you get to where we are now, with reporters literally going up after Tiffany Henyard states, this is all fake news. Can't figure out why you guys are coming at me the way you are. And it's exactly what we just saw right there. Hey, we're asking you for some information. And what are you doing? Oh, you can FOIA that. Well, why can't you have somebody, hey, if this was a legit administration, if this was a legit mayor, not the super mayor be say, hey, let me take down your name. Let me get your email, and I'll have one of my people get you that information. We'll get you that information. Boom, done, over with. Instead of, no, you can FOIA that. That's the ultimate, to a reporter. You can FOIA that. freedom of information. It takes a bunch of work, and that only works if the Village of Dalton were to actually respond to the FOIA requests. And everybody knows right now that only under court order is the Village of Dalton doing anything. And you could see with that exchange, these folks have been through this multiple times where they've asked for this information, and what do they get? They basically get stonewalled. And they get stonewalled by people who, aren't even employees of of the administration. You got to FOIA that. It's like, oh, everybody knows we're on lockdown. We're not giving out any information, because if we did, it wouldn't be good. Did you see that WGN report that they had a couple of days ago? We are not looking swell here, folks. We are not looking pretty. Well, that's what happens when you steal a bunch of money from the community, from the taxpayers, and you literally double dip, both sides of the township and the village to pay for your own, mini vacations. And that's what they did. And throughout all of this, so we've had multiple news events here, the last few days. And throughout all of this is this notion of it's crazy, right? It's crazy. And what I'm trying to get to is, what was the purpose of all these trips? Where were they going? What were they doing? Well, the only thing that I can see with all this information that's come out is they were doing conferences. They're doing some special conferences. Whoa. So why can't you talk about that? Let's talk about the conference. So, what is Tiffany Henyard hiding? Bottom line, what is she hiding? What's going on? We don't know. It's unknown. But with the way Tiff operates, the way the super mayor operates, is that she just comes right back at you aggressively and sends you off. Gets you off your game so that you're like, this. These reporters, they're like, hey, we need some information from you. And she's like, oh, don't do that. FOIA? I don't handle that. And literally doesn't take the time to recognize, okay, let's work on getting you that information. She just blows them off and goes on to the next person. Literally. Rude. That is rude. Straight up rude. But that's Tiffany Henyard. That's her style. That's her leadership style. At the beginning of this, what was the quote? If you want to leave, you can leave. That was at the beginning of this meeting. If you want to leave, you can leave. This is me making my statement. If you don't like it, go F yourselves. And she signs off with, before she starts into her speech, you don't want to hear it? There's the door. It's all or nothing, right? It's all or nothing. So it's no shock that there is a massive amount of publicity following her around. And you know what? We're all just waiting for something to really break, because what we're seeing here is the inevitable, which is you've ratcheted down the spending. You've basically controlled the township and the village. They're controlling all the ties to money. They're controlling the credit cards. So now they don't have access to funds. But now Tiffany is claiming, well, we can't run the village. We can't run the township. Thornton, we can't run the township. How can we get ice cream? How can we get gift cards for the big bingo? All right. The last thing I want to leave you with is, if you're into cooking, on the Thornton Township Facebook page, you can watch Cooking with Tiff, episode number 1. You guys can watch Cooking with Tiff. I'm not going to make you watch that, but what she does is she takes a community member and they're going to make some meatloaf. They're going to make meatloaf. So if you want to watch the super mayor, the dictator of Dalton, Tahoe Tiff, if you want to watch her make some meatloaf, then I told you where you can do that. All right. That's it for me. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for supporting the live stream. Again, check out Reality Check TV Chicago. Wouldn't have been able to do out this live stream without their feed. So much appreciated to them. And I'll see you on the next live stream. Thanks again for being here. Bye for now.